She's stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
This is a lady who's very popular for being awful.
Harry and Meghan, they have an issue when it comes to their memory and when it comes to the truth.
Oh my God, I can't even. These two, Meghan and Harry, are the worst.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
Meghan Markle. That's the big distraction.
That's the big distraction right there.
There's a war room apparently in England where they're trying to figure out what to do.
I'm not a Meghan Markle fan. There's more to life than how you look and how your friends think of you.
But I just can't stand her. I just think she's such a phony.
Meghan just wanting her privacy, but not being able to find it with Netflix cameras in her face, which is weird. Because I'm usually when I want my privacy, that's what I do. I hire a team, a videographer, and I sign an $88 million deal with Netflix and a $25 million deal with Spotify. And I feel sad for them. I do. I feel sad. I don't know why they're not able to get their privacy. And she is a victim. I believe it. I have been programmed to believe it.
My authentic self is for me to live my life really authentically, make choices authentically, being able to be so authentically myself.
Meghan and Harry, these absolute cretins.
You know, you're just fragile. They want it both ways. You know, you can't be, these people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention, and then let me write a book about how much we don't want attention.
I've never seen this sort of. I've never seen someone that struggles to just give us like one strip of authenticity.
Have you been hanging out with Meghan and Harry since they've been in California?
No.
What do you think of them?
They're ridiculous.
And it seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
What is the number one question that mystifies scientists?
Is there life on another planet?
Oh no. Why does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags?
Meghan is a trained actress. What she does is that she studies people. She's not a good actress, but she is a trained one, right? She's been doing it her entire life.
Full disclosure, I do think Harry's a wanker, but
well, he seems to be.
Are you in love now more than ever?
Are you in love? How happy and beautiful is your husband? He's so beautiful. Do you love?
The hypocrisy is beyond anything I've ever seen.
Little American hussies he's hooked up with. She's come to turn him into a Kardashian. That little American hussy has ruined my prince.
I do think that Americans feel like Prince Harry is sometimes an emotional con artist who fabricates and exaggerates hardships to exploit compassion.
You know what's going on. Someone wanted a lot of attention, and now they got it. You know, I mean, she used to be on Deal or No
infiltrated?
Deal. She was one of the Deal or No Deal ladies.
The way it works, is he infiltrated
so.
or was she infiltrated?
Well, it depends on who's getting pegged.
Yeah.
It depends on the methods.
Take me out back and shoot me, okay? Just end my agony now.
Brat, to be honest, and very, very entitled.
And this is the psychopathic elements.
And why none of them want to talk to you or trust you as far as they can throw you.
Essentially infiltrated by a very ambitious actress. She was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with a briefcase.
She didn't like being objectified on Deal. And did you think it was an executive position, ma'am? You're one of the hot ladies holding up a suitcase.
This, we're just gonna put into a different bag.
Meghan Markle, and she is a manipulative person.
Uncle, make it end. Make it end. What is this?
You're complaining about your hard life.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard and
This is a delusional, treacherous, bitter little man who's completely lost touch with all reality.
And you're so privileged. It's just so weird.
It's ridiculous. I totally agree.
Well, the wanker is, he's put out this book, Spare, or whatever it's called.
But it's also very strange that he...
Well, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
Family doesn't like her, the in-laws obviously don't like her, the public doesn't like her.
I don't like her.
There's nothing I like about her.
If you don't like her, it's not your fault. It's because she's extremely unlikable, okay?
Welcome back to Celebrity. It's Olivia here. She left the palace for Hollywood, but still demands we call her Duchess. Joe Rogan didn't flinch. He didn't tiptoe. He didn't soften the blow. Live on air. In that gritty, no-holds-barred podcast tone only he can pull off, Rogan took aim at Meghan Markle. and he torched the whole royal fantasy with a single line that now echoes across the internet like a war drum. This wasn't just shade. This was a full-blown comedic evisceration, a gut punch to the carefully crafted image Meghan has clung to like royalty itself depends on it. And the irony? The one thing Meghan's been accused of craving, attention, is now raining down like a storm she may never escape. Because Rogan didn't just question her title. He called out the performance, the Duchess cosplay, the Netflix docuseries, the Spotify disaster, the endless authenticity speeches that feel anything but authentic. She wants privacy, he mocked, but brings a full camera crew to chase it. You could hear the crack, the sound of a perfectly polished PR mirror shattering on live air. And the world? They loved it. Because beneath the palace speeches and podcast monologues, maybe, just maybe, Joe said what so many have been thinking, but were too afraid to say out loud. And if this was just the punchline, wait till you see the pressure cooker Meghan's walking into next.
And now, you can't.
Yeah, look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with a briefcase.
She didn't like being objectified on Deal. Did you think it was an executive position, ma'am? You're one of the hot ladies holding up a suitcase. It's a game show. Like, how are you objectified?
Like we zoomed in just to see, there isn't a tear in sight, Dan. Look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this. Where's the tear? There's nothing there. Look, it's an actor's trick.
Now, Meghan, just last week, she did her first long-form sit-down podcast interview. She showed a basket that she had sent to the host of the podcast as a thank you for allowing her to come on. And here you can kind of zoom in here and it says, with the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. She was caught red-handed using Her Royal Highness. That is a title that was stripped from her when she and Harry made their whole racism debacle and left the UK, left their royal duties, and moved to the US to bug all of us for the last couple of years.
Meghan Markle didn't just marry into royalty, she branded herself into it. From the moment the world watched her walk down that aisle, veil trailing behind her like destiny itself, Meghan became more than a duchess. She became an idea, the American outsider who conquered the British crown, the fairy tale reimagined. But somewhere along the way, something shifted, because the Meghan we see now, the one giving authenticity monologues, fronting luxury documentaries, and reminding us at every turn of her ex-royal status, feels more like a character than a person. And Joe Rogan? He saw straight through it. In a world obsessed with image, with titles, with performative vulnerability, he called BS. He didn't just mock the Duchess shtick, he ripped it wide open. What once looked like elegance and empowerment suddenly looked like marketing. She left the palace, he said, but still acts like the tiara is glued to her skull. And here's where the tension boils. Because this isn't just about Joe Rogan versus Meghan Markle. It's about Hollywood versus authenticity. It's about fame versus reality. It's about a woman who wanted privacy, but signed multi-million-dollar deals to broadcast her every tear, every whisper, every truth. You feel that? That slow hum of discomfort? That's the audience realizing they didn't buy into a fairy tale. They bought into a script. And Meghan? She may have played the part too well. Because when you sell your pain for profit, what happens when the world stops believing it's real?
This is something that she is not allowed to use. She's using it in private with her friends. That's even weirder than if they were still trying to milk the titles in public. She is sending her friend, her close friend, a gift basket, signing it, Her Royal Highness. This is literally what she has always wanted. And I mean that quite literally, because according to Megyn Kelly, Meghan used to literally have a photo of Prince Harry on her vision board.
She denied being interested in the royal family, which she totally was. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it. And
Before they met?
Yes.
This relaunch has now descended into a farce, it would seem, because officials in the Spanish town of Mallorca have accused the Duchess of Sussex of copying its traditional coat of arms for the logo of her newly revamped
Well, it's pretty close, isn't it?
luxury brand. It does look very, very close.
It started with a chuckle on Rogan's mic, but within hours, it became a digital feeding frenzy. Joe Rogan mocked Meghan's obsession with royalty like it was a punchline from a stand-up set. And the internet? They didn't just laugh, they erupted. Twitter timelines lit up with fire. TikTok stitched the audio into parody skits. YouTube reaction channels flooded with takes. The meme economy? Booming. And all of it, merciless. Because this wasn't just Rogan versus Meghan anymore. It was the world versus the Duchess Act. People who had once defended her were now asking the uncomfortable questions. Wait, didn't she say she wanted to leave all this behind? So why is she still signing deals built on the very title she supposedly hated? And Rogan? He became a kind of folk hero in this moment, not because he was delicate, not because he was right, but because he said what people were too nervous to admit. You can't say you want privacy, and then stream your pain in 4K with a Netflix production team. Even neutral observers started choosing sides. Reddit threads dissected her quotes like court transcripts. Influencers who once praised her started pulling back, and fan accounts? Dead silent. And here's the real twist. The backlash wasn't about her marriage. It wasn't about her race. It wasn't about her past. It was about trust. Because when you tell the world you're stepping away from the spotlight, and then you build an entire brand on keeping it pointed at you, eventually, the audience starts to blink.
Allegedly from the Duchess's do-it-yourself bath salt recipe. This is a recipe that Kinsey featured on her Netflix show. What else can you tell me about this?
Well, I could tell you I spoke to 2 attorneys about this. Both said this potential
troubles for poor Meghan. She's been threatened with a $10 million lawsuit after a woman suffered catastrophic burns.
The lawsuit could, no pun intended, have legs.
Wow.
Oh my God. I just threw up a little in my mouth.
When the internet smells hypocrisy, it doesn't let go. And this time, the receipts came in like an avalanche. The moment Joe Rogan threw that basic Duchess in disguise line into the airwaves, the internet got to work. And the receipts? They were everywhere. Clip after clip resurfaced of Meghan talking about her desire to live a quiet life, how she just wanted peace, to step back and raise her kids in privacy. But stacked right next to those interviews, a flashing montage of $88 million Netflix deals, $25 million Spotify contracts, press tours, red carpets, cookbook launches, staged photo ops in designer trench coats, all while saying, "I just want to be left alone." The irony, crushing. Then came the podcast sound bites, quotes where Meghan claimed she was breaking barriers, while the show quietly tanked. Critics called it insufferable. Fans called it tone deaf. Even Spotify cut ties, with insiders alleging she and Harry just didn't deliver. Influencers stitched clips of her Netflix crying scenes next to footage of the actual royal events. And let's just say, the timelines didn't match. Suddenly, the public wasn't just annoyed. They felt duped. Even tabloids, usually the first to bite, held back, watching the crowd turn itself. Because this backlash wasn't tabloid-fueled. It was organic, fueled by disappointment, by fatigue, by people saying, "We gave you our sympathy and you sold it." And Joe Rogan? He didn't have to say another word. The internet did the rest. But just when it looked like Meghan's media bubble had fully burst, something darker started circulating.
Before I go to bed almost every night, I email them.
Wow.
I email because it doesn't have to be a heavy lift, and you email them like, "Here's your report card from today."
Wow.
"Oh my gosh, you said the funniest thing this morning," or "Here's a picture of you two having breakfast," or
"Wow.
Here's you playing with the dog."
Wow.
The things that you're not going to frame, the things that you're not going to put pen to paper in a journal.
You're not even going to believe me. She's crying in them.
She just keeps wiping and wiping and wiping, so we think she has a heart.
I know, it's shocking. She's never once played a victim, but she is going to cry, and you will like her, and you will see her as a victim, no matter how many dollars it takes.
This is fake. She knows exactly when that happened. The eye search she's got going on there, that's forced and faked, as is the facial expression.
And just like that, the curtain started to fall, not with a scandal, not with a press release, but with something far more devastating in Hollywood. Silence. No new deals. No major appearances. No glamorous Met Gala invite. Just nothing. After years of dominating headlines, after Oprah, Spotify, Netflix, The Cut, Variety, and every authentic monologue in between, Meghan Markle vanished from the spotlight she once demanded. Because once the laughter fades, once the audience stops clapping, what's left for a duchess with no throne and no one buying the act? And here's the final twist of fate, the irony you could bottle and sell. She walked away from royalty to be free, but now, she's trapped in a reputation that won't let her leave. She wanted control of the narrative. Now she's a character in everyone else's. Mocked by comedians, roasted by podcasters, faded from the Hollywood A-list she thought she was joining. And that royal title she clings to like a lifeboat, it doesn't hold weight in California. Not in studios. Not with streamers. Not with the public. Because in the end, you can leave the palace. You can trade castles for cameras. But you can't pretend to be royal forever. The world stopped bowing, and now, Meghan Markle stands in the silence she once claimed she wanted. So here's the real question. Was it all worth it? Let us know in the comments. Was this just a harsh joke? Or the final chapter in a story that was never meant to last? The mic's open. Let's hear what you think.